The people that wanted Alex Kurtzman out of Star Trek and Secret Hideout to be gone just lost their hardest supporter. So, what does that mean for Star Trek moving forwards? And actually, is Star Trek getting better anyway? Do we really want a change? Welcome to Sci Trek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So the CEO, Bob Bakish, from over at Paramount, lost his job a couple of days ago. He is moving on. Now, the reasons why he's moving on are twofold. One being that he really did have a different vision for Paramount moving forwards, and he was not a big fan of Skydance. The Skydance deal really is a deal he did not want to move forwards with. He was a big supporter of the Apollo deal, and I'm sorry, but Sheree Redstone, the owner of National Amusements, that is actually the major shareholder over at Paramount, would much prefer the Skydance deal because it makes her more money. So, money, that's a good thing. Americans love money. So, we all love money. But, that basically was the main reason why he'll be moving on. The Skydance deal is about to go through. They're really just polishing off the final elements of that bid. They're just trying to get a little bit more money for the other shareholders in the hope, really, that they don't get sued. But the truth is that if Sheree Redstone wants the deal to go through, it'll go through, and she does. So, Paramount is about to be sold to Skydance. But why do I say that those that want Alex Kurtzman out of Star Trek have lost their biggest supporter? Well, I've told you a few times in the last few months that there were a small group of executives over at Paramount that really did want Alex Kurtzman out. The plan was, if Warner Brothers had won the deal to buy Paramount, that they were going to create Star Trek Studios and that they were going to basically buy Alex Kurtzman out. Warner Brothers were then going to give him a couple of movie deals to sweeten him up. And that would have been the plan for Star Trek. They could have kept everything they want in Star Trek, and they could have got rid of what they don't. Now, that hasn't happened, clearly, because Warner Brothers failed in their bid. But why do I mention Bob Bakish? Bob Bakish, I'm being told, was one of the main people over sort of leading the charge to get Alex Kurtzman out of Star Trek. He basically believed, according to sources, that Star Trek had wandered a little bit, that they didn't want different timelines and things. They thought Star Trek was becoming overly complicated, and that they were at risk of losing one of their most important assets, probably their biggest single franchise. I wouldn't actually. No, Yellowstone probably is bigger at the moment, at least, but one of its most valuable franchises. So, Bob Bakish leaving Paramount. What does that leave us with? It leaves us with Skydance. And I'm being told Skydance have absolutely no intention of throwing Alex Kurtzman and Secret Hideout out. They will be moving forward to Star Trek. They will get a new deal in maybe sometime this year, basically the next 12 months. The plan is really that Skydance will acquire Paramount. It's actually the way around. It's really complicated with this Paramount deal. What's basically going to happen is Paramount are going to buy Skydance, not the other way around. So Skydance are going to inject a load of money buying the shares and taking control of Paramount. They'll buy the shares off Paramount. And then once they've got control of Paramount, Paramount will buy Skydance and absorb the two companies. And then Skydance will inject a bunch of more money into Paramount, limiting the debt and allowing them hopefully to refinance a chunk of the remaining debt at a much more favourable rate. Business weirds me out sometimes. I don't really know how these things work, but apparently that's what's going to happen. So, there will be a new CEO. That new CEO will be through Skydance. Skydance are pushing for the two new movies. One of those will be the sort of Chris Pine Star Trek movie, and then the other one will be another bloody prequel, which I'm still being told is planned to be sort of around the launch of the Enterprise. So I think we're going to see Captain Robert Ape, myself. So that'll be interesting. Will it? But we'll see. I'd like to see this launch of the Enterprise, I suppose. But I tell you what, Star Trek are bloody obsessed with the Enterprise. The last episode of Discovery, Season 5, spoilers if you haven't seen it, the bloody Enterprise turns up again. The ISS Enterprise. Now, I know they've got the set all ready for Strange New Worlds, but you don't have to use it every chance you bloody get. All of the ships in the Federation, you'd think 95% of them were called Enterprise. But anyway, sorry, a little bit of a rant there, but I just don't know why they do that. They do the same with Star Wars all the time. Everything happens on Tatooine. For God's sake, just expand it. There's a big galaxy out there. Use it. Anyway, so Bob Bakish was the main man over at Paramount yelling for Star Trek to take a different direction. Now, this wasn't the only thing, obviously, he was worried about. He didn't like the Skydance deal because it wasn't good for the general shareholders. And his job as CEO really isn't just about what's right for Cherie Redstone. It's about what's right for Paramount as a company. And he didn't think that the Skydance deal is what's right for the company. And that's why he's left. But by leaving, the leader of the group of people that were pushing to change Star Trek has gone. So that's why we're now getting news about Skydance pushing forward to these two movies that will be done in co-production with Secret Hideout and Alex Kurtzman. And that's why we're hearing and will be hearing more about other projects coming soon, including Legacy, which we will get. But my initial question, do we desperately need a change in Star Trek? Well, I would argue actually that Star Trek is getting better. Alex Kurtzman doesn't run a lot of the shows anymore. He doesn't show run everything. Okay, he's the boss. He's the guy that owns the company, but he allows other people to be far more involved. I would actually say that Picard Season 3 is some of the best Star Trek we've had since Voyager. And I would actually say that Discovery Season 5 is quite good. Which, really, let's be honest, you'd have never heard me say before. I've actually enjoyed every episode so far. I know, I'm as surprised as you. But it's actually good. They're really going to have to mess up those last few episodes for me to come away thinking Discovery Season 5 was a failure. So yeah, a terrible series is going out with a bang. I'm hoping that when Strange New Worlds comes back, they have a few more highs and a few less lows, because even though I really enjoyed that series, I wasn't a massive fan of most of Season 2. A couple of highs, a couple of singing lows. But on the whole, not too bad. I do still worry about it stepping on canon, but let's be honest, Star Trek and the people over at Secret Hideout don't seem to care about that, so maybe we shouldn't. But as I said, Disco Season 5 is good. Now we're losing Lower Decks, which is a shame. But hey, maybe it'll find a new home. I am being told actually that Paramount would be open to that if Netflix or somebody else stepped up and wanted to pay the money. Hey, look, Amazon paid for the first couple of seasons, so maybe. But if not, I'd love to see some other spin-off because I like the animated stuff. So let's see what happens. But it would seem that the future of Star Trek is going to be staying well in the hands of Secret Hideout. I'm hearing actually that part of their contract currently, which I believe runs out next summer, has something built into it that will be extended if these movies get announced anyway. Basically, the contract can't end while they're running through certain projects. And so it'll probably automatically get extended. And then I hear that Skydance, once they've got their feet under the table and everything's sorted, they'll push forward to the new deal anyway. So that's where we're going. If you wanted Kurtzman out, I'm afraid an opportunity may be missed. But actually, if you like where Star Trek's going at the moment and you're maybe willing to forgive Season 1 of Discovery, I struggle, then, hey, maybe the future is bright. But guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. Is this deal with Skydance, you think, a good thing? It's going to be more movies, something I don't think we were going to get under the Warner Brothers deal. And, Skydance has had a lot to do with Star Trek. They have a good relationship with Alex Kurtzman, etc. It could be a good thing, and it could mean good, basically, them continuing the existing budget, which we can all agree is a very good thing. Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. As always, please stay safe, live long and prosper, and I'll see you next time.